at the trade fair back in March. Nonetheless, it is in true spirits as enabler for trade. Messe Frankfurt is happy to bring together a digital industry connect. Now, as an active part of the
I should
decor
be able to hear
industry,
them, na?
as a part of the decor
वो
industry,
कैसे करना पड़ेगा जो
probably
कॉल वाया
majority
ऑडियो
of
कर लो
us,
ना मैं वही करूँ ना ओके ओके सचिन थैंक्स
yeah, probably
अच्छा जो
majority
मैंने
of
आपको
us
लिखा था ना प्लीज
facing
वो करवा लेना यू
unprecedented
बी वेरी
effects of
सिंपल
inconvenient yet the necessary lockdown. But instead of still mulling about it, it's time for us to think what next for the decor industry and the handicraft industry, right? So we hope that today's forum will present you with practical insights, with thoughts shared by our esteemed industry panel. Before we begin to ask questions to our panelists would be interested in understanding a little about you. So going forward, here's a quick question. Basically, it will be a poll question that will pop up on your screen right now, and the audiences will able to answer it for 20 seconds, after which we will display the result for the 10 seconds. So I think we can have the first polling question for the audience. Okay, the question is, what is your primary line of business? Are you a manufacturer? Are you an exporter? Are you an importer, a dealer, distributor, or wholesaler? Are you a retailer? Are you from modern trade, interior design, or a buying house agent? So please submit your please submit your answers. Okay, so here are the polling results. We have quite a few mixed audiences over here. 19% of the audiences are from the manufacturing, 14% are exporters. We have another major chunk of interior designers, buying house agents, and there is another 17% of other categories that are joining us today. Okay, so moving forward, I would like to just introduce the panelists. First, we have Mr. Vikash Gupta. He's the founder and promoter of 360, a leather lifestyle brand. With a passion for leather craft and staying true to it, Mr. Vikas set up 360 on his return to India from US. 360 specializes in creating well-crafted masterpieces and personalizing spaces within the support of local craftsmen. Welcome, Mr. Vikas.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Next, I am glad to welcome someone who has almost pioneered the concept of buying agencies in India and a veteran in the handicraft industry, Ms. Ruma Malik, representing the Buying Agents Association. She is one of the founding members of BAA and also a part of its governing body. Now, representing the BAA, she's also closely worked with manufacturers, merchandisers, and technical experts in the industry. Ms. Ruma brings to the panel a unique perspective on global trends. It's a pleasure to have you, Ms. Ruma, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Moving on, we also have with us Ms. Jovita. She's the owner of Shady Ideas. With a professional background in hospitality and a passion for design, Ms. Jovita has been a part of the industry for over 10 years now, presenting sustainable lighting solutions through Shady Ideas. Welcome, Ms. Jovita.
Thank you so much. It's good to be here.
Thank you. Last but not the least, an antiques lover, product designer, and a master craftsman himself. Joining us all the way from Singapore is Mr. Saurabh Mangla. Mr. Saurabh has worked with several fashion houses and royal families in the Middle East on bespoke products. His designs are exclusively distributed and managed by Sainik Lifestyle Private Limited. Happy to welcome you, Mr. Saurabh. Thank you so much. Thank you. Now, before moving forward, any questions that the audience may have, you can drop it in the Q&A section below. We will try to address as many as possible. You can also upvote a question, a certain question that is already posted in the Q&A box by liking it. So we will try to take those upvoted questions first. Now, moving on ahead with the discussion, my first point of discussion is with Ms. Ruma. Looking at the current situation where everything has come for a pause, and also someone who works actively in the international sourcing space, how do you foresee the demand changes for the Indian handicraft and decor products? And this is in perspective of domestic as well as international. And are they permanent or long term? Over to you, Ms. Ruma.
Thank you. Thank you all for having me on this wonderful panel. Great to see old friends and new colleagues. I have like Sandesh said, a very different perspective to the current environment.
Okay.
So I'm going to just talk about something very shortly, and that is that we all know the danger of the current environment. But like all investment people talk about in banking circles, where there's danger, there's opportunity. If you run away from danger, you also run away from opportunity. The problem is you have to create opportunity out of a danger environment. My feel on this environment today, I don't talk pre-COVID, I don't talk post-COVID. I talk about a new world. I talk about a new normal. When we didn't have telexes, I'm an old fossil. So I come from the age when we didn't have telexes, we didn't have faxes. Sometimes we didn't have international calls, and yet business flourished. Telexes came, faxes came, the internet came, the business flourished, became faster, swifter, better, whatever. Today, we are going to be looking at new technology is capable of innovation like you will not believe. And there are incredible brains out there bringing incredible solutions to this new world order that we are entering. So I do believe product will change. I do believe fashion will change. Today we are looking at what we need rather than what we want. Luxury, the whole term of luxury, essential, non-essential, that will change. The only constant is change. Air conditioners 30 years ago was considered the utmost luxury. Today, for homes, air conditioners is an essential. So therefore, my submission today is the whole world is going to change the concepts of what was essential, what was luxury, what are we going to need in the future? Do we really want what we have today? Our wants will change, the market will change. Where there's a demand, there will be supply. But I don't believe in a doom and a gloom situation. The human mind is far greater than one virus that can't be seen. Does that answer you a little bit, or should I go more into detail?
I think it does answer, but if you could just elaborate in some ways, are there any demand changes that we can see in the market as of now, keeping in mind the current situation, Ms. Ruma?
Well, I think the garment industry is the first, which is very badly hit. We all know that. Most people have hundreds of pairs of trousers and shirts and everything else. So everybody is looking at, do we really need that extra? Do we really want to buy that extra? Because money is in short supply. Retailing has been another form of commerce, which has been in trouble for a while. It is going to go further into, I think, a deep depression. The whole form of commerce will change. Today, we only know a very basic form of e-commerce. I think e-commerce is going to get far more sophisticated. It's going to take a whole new life onto itself. As far as home decor is concerned, I'm mostly in the I'm not in the American business, I'm in the European business. I work with brands, I work with retailers, I work with discounters across all retail levels. And there I have yet not seen cancellations. I have yet not seen a change in product. What we do know of is in the last 2 or 3 years, everybody's been talking about eco. Everybody's talking about sustainable. But I think that has more to be seen as being politically correct. I don't think people realized that this is going to be far more important than the small limited steps that people were doing just to be politically correct. I think this time has brought the whole focus on nature, on being sustainable in our lifestyle, far closer to home than what was seen in the last 3, 4, 5 years. And yet we have huge challenges. We talk about sustainable materials being used. I'm sure Jovita would know, if everybody suddenly changes to sustainable materials, do we have enough sustainable materials being grown? No. If you want wood, if you want raw material, that's going to take 10 years for a forest to grow. So
Correct.
we don't have that. We are not ready for it. We are talking about it.
Okay.
But the whole market is going to be turned on its head.
Okay.
So that is my thing, that I think the human brain, the human mind, the human innovation, that is the winner
Okay.
in today's environment. Those who have it will survive. Those who won't will become extinct.
Okay. Thank you for that wonderful insight, Ms. Ruma. Now, moving on to the next point of discussion is to you, Ms. Jovita. As a manufacturer yourself, that has been in the industry for more than a decade now. My question to you is it time for manufacturers to diversify into new product categories? If yes, then how can they use their current setup to do so? Over to you, Ms. Jovita.
Okay, hi everybody. So I think it's a great thing to do to diversify, simply because there is so much more than you can possibly do with your current setup. I'll give you an example. We do ourselves. We are a major lighting company, but we are now designing and manufacturing home decor products. So what this does for us is we used our wood, our wood workshop just to make bases for lamps, but now we are making side tables and things related to home decor. So the same setup, but different products. So if you are innovative enough, knowing what your machinery, what your process is, what your skill sets and materials are, I'm sure you can actually target your diversification accordingly. And I don't mean that only product wise. I also feel that market wise you can diversify. It's not only product that calls for diversification. Please look into larger markets. Please be innovative about the markets that you are targeting. And I'm sure, like Ms. Ruma said, that if you are smart enough to use this opportunity, because for all of us, this is a huge opportunity. There are so many changes that are happening. We are a sustainable company. We manufacture products out of upcycled, recycled material. So we know exactly it's not easy, but it can be done. We've been in existence for the last 10 years and we managed to be profitable. So possible, yeah. You just need to be innovative.
Okay. Thank you so much, Ms. Jovita, for that answer. Moving ahead, I have a question to Mr. Saurabh. Now, as you know, Mr. Saurabh, majority of the Indian manufacturers are into exports. And, Sainik Lifestyle has been a purely export-oriented brand. Do you foresee the demand in the Indian domestic market? That is my first question. And secondly, is it time for exporters to explore the domestic market and create a retail brand for themselves?
Thank you. I think Mr. Vikash would probably be a better person to answer this, but I'll have a go at it.
Yes, we can take Mr. Vikash' opinion as well in this.
So, well, I'd say, in my understanding, I'm seeing a lot of supply chains changing. People are talking about, make in your own country, go local. In some cases, people are even talking about going hyper local, where they're looking at sourcing from within their city or within their own regions. I mean, there's an example of countries like Vietnam and Thailand. They stopped exporting rice for the last 2 months, and they had agreements with other countries that in terms of prices, they're going to actually sell them rice, But some of these countries were shocked that in this period, they said, sorry, we have to look after our own food security and we are not going to ship you the rice. Another example is from Taiwan. Taiwan was making a lot of face masks. They were the first ones to ban export of face masks from their country. So I think there's a lot of keenness where people are talking about, food security, national fervor, changing supply lines. I think for exporters in India, I think it's the right time to, and there has been this entire wave anyway of made in India for the last few years.
Yes.
So I think if there can be some sort of they can put the two dots together, I think there can be an opportunity to actually sell more in the Indian market. Platforms like Interior Lifestyle are very good. I mean, they can give, there can be a lot of opportunity for exporters. I was talking to one of my clients two days ago, and for the first time, he's one of the biggest importers of furniture from Canada, from China, and they are actually setting up their first made in Canada line. So they've actually never sold any furniture made in the US or in Canada or North America. But, taking the cues of how things are changing, I think they will, people will do this. I'd like to add here, there is a very interesting case study, which I think people can refer to. In the Asian economic crisis, Thailand actually had a very similar problem. The Thai baht fell very badly, and a lot of exporters lost their international business. And interestingly, over the next few years, in Thailand, in the top floor of every mall, these exporters got together and they started local Thai brands. And these have gone on and they've prospered. Of course, the opportunity now lies, as everybody is talking about, e-commerce and sort of the omni-channel piece. So, how can people start thinking about taking advantage of the e-commerce space in trying to sell within India? Because India in itself is a large space. So I think it would be important that branding, supply chain, and e-commerce are sort of amalgamated to make this new offer.
Yes.
As we go along.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Saurabh. Mr. Vikash, would you like to add something to this?
Sandesh, thank you. Firstly, my gratitude to you, to Ambiente, India, and my community out there. Thank you for bringing us together. It's wonderful to be here. Firstly, I want to cheer up my community out there because I think everybody is desperately waiting to get back to work, get back to life, and just to cheer you all, I'm back to life. You can see my factory, and that's why I decided to be here and show you the factory part so you can see some action, and that's what it is. That's what life is going to be all about. So coming back to Saurabh's point, I totally agree and agree with all my three panelists here that yes, it's going to change. Change is here. We are better off accepting it. That's a reality, and I think. But let's not have that fear. I think I'll tell you about maybe this will help everybody out there to kind of to relate to what I as a person what I've gone through. So I'm into exports also. I'm building a retail lifestyle brand called 360. My export is under Randwick Exports, and of course I do some projects because of being in the retail brand under 360. So of course some of my orders got cancelled, which unfortunate, and I understand why. I is also going through that pain. All my retail outlets got closed. My projects got on hold. So the first day it was a shocker, and I looked out there and I thought, whoa, what happened? And I'm a first generation entrepreneur who has done his inning, who started from scratch, builder, and it takes a lot to build a business, as a first generation. And I looked at and I was thinking, wow, this is not fair, but it's not fair for the world. So 2-3 days it took me to come back to normal, to get back to life, and to accept the reality that this is here. So what I did on the third day, I said, okay, Mr. Vikash, this is it. You got a chance to play your second inning. So why not play a second inning? And here I am. So I got my team back on a Zoom, thanks to Zoom technology. As my panelists have said, that's the new world. We got to live with all this. We got to learn. If we have not learned it, it's high time. I got on the Zoom, got my team, got my design team, my workers, everybody, whoever I could. The idea was to get them engaged. That was my first thing. And I told them one thing very clearly. I said, you know what? We should not lose hope. That's the first thing. And let not there be any fear. So those two things. And it was not easy for me to make those kind of statements because I know what I was going through. Okay. We are all going through financial pain, physical, mental. It's all there. I understand. But I told my team, we cannot afford to not take risk. You know, losing is an option, but giving up is not an option. And that's how my team got together. We started working on our strategies. So here we are. So I think Indian opportunity is there. People have to start looking at export also. There'll be a lot of opportunity coming. I don't think they need to fear. Yes, it's a time phase. Right now, you should only think about survival. Get your back into action. Get your business moving. It will take 6 months to 8 months, but there's opportunity out there, huge opportunity, because life will go on. Yes, there's opportunity for brand. There's opportunity for everybody to do a lot of things. Just to answer your question on that, I think Saurabh has already done a great job. So I think yes, there is opportunity. There is opportunity in retail brand also.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Vikash, for giving your insights. So let's do one thing. I think we should get the audience involved in this and let know what their thoughts are on this. So I think we should have a next poll question over here for the audiences. Okay, the poll question is, can India be the next manufacturing hub? And we have 3 options here. So I would just request the audience to submit in their answers. Okay, the results are out. So 61% of our attendees have said that definitely, yes, India is the next manufacturing hub. 32% of the audiences are still deciding or maybe confused. It may be, may not be. And 7% are saying not yet. Okay, so moving on, this brings to our next topic of discussion is with Mr. Vikash. Now we are in the 8th week of lockdown here. We are so slowly, seeing restrictions being lifted for the manufacturing units in a few states to resume production, including yours. You have your beautiful office and beautiful factory over there in the background, bringing it such a positivity to this webinar. Thank you so much for that, Mr. Vikas. But now coming back to the question is, will things be different? Okay, and how much difference are you already seeing? What are the new challenges and what is your outlook on dealing with it? Over to you, Mr. Vikas.
Thank you, Sandesh. So I think yes, we have to get back to life. Business is coming back. I was very excited along with my team to come back to work, and I'm sure a lot of people out there are also excited. And I think, you know what, ultimately we all know by now that coronavirus is going to be, it's a story which is here for the next year and a half. And we just got to live with it. And there is no way we cannot let our economy to get back on in order. And I think government has done a very decent job. I think as much as, it's not easy with a country of our size and and the way we run our businesses, we all know, sometimes we are very unorganized, and that's how we are. And this is the calling time now. This is the time when we have to get back. And I think the challenge, so we are back. So the way we did it, I'll just give you my example. So we start the day the government in Haryana started, we thought, okay, let's open up. My first challenge was to open up with the 25% people, even though we were given authority to open 50% and then 75. I said, let's not get any management into place. Let's get our SOP in place. It's very important. A lot of us, I think we already run a very compliance unit, which is good. Thanks to buying agents and buyers that they really give us, ensure that we run a compliance unit, because that, otherwise we are not an easy nut to crack, if we have our way, we'll just continue doing the way we wanted to, but thanks. So that kind of set the ball rolling. It was easier for us, and it will be easier for us to adopt to that change, because it's just going to better. Yes, for the workers, again, they are our team. They are, I think, very understanding. They believe me. It's as an entrepreneur, as a businessman, fear is not with us only, fear is with them. And this is the time, I think, if a business leader needs to show his mental strength, this is the time. This is the opportunity to show that, and somehow deal with that fear and get that fear out of the workforce also. So get started, keep that distance, educate them, make them aware, let them and motivate them. Let not fear get after them. That's very important. And I'm saying this to the extent where you please go ahead and be a part of and engage yourself with the larger community, whether it's an industrial association you are part of, or your RWAs, or anybody, or government. Engage with them, do things, because the community needs that hope, needs that spirit, and we need to get back to action and then revive our business. SOPs, I saw my admin guy. He was so good. My guys have followed. We are back with the mask. We are gloves, sanitization, and everything was so easy. It was so doable. Of course, we'll upgrade. We'll learn every day. Right now, when I walked into the factory, I was the first guy who showed up because I wanted to lead. And so when I walked up, of course, the communication, the body language is not same. It takes time. Give it that time. Don't worry. Let's do baby step. So I think, and a lot of people might say, oh, the business is dead. What am I going to do? Don't worry. Let's start the economy. Doesn't matter if we don't have work. If I'm coming to my factory, I'm burning some fuel by using my diesel. I'm bringing my driver, or I'm creating some action into the economy. Something I've already started it. I'm going to call one or two vendors. I will do some kind of a store. My guys are, so you know what? And things will settle down. Yes, it will take time, I'm sure, but things will settle down. So, but only my advice to you all, document things. Because this is a new age, new normals. And listen, this is a new normal. Let's not fool ourselves. None of us know what the world is going to look like 4 to 6 weeks from now. Don't worry. Let's not worry. But at least let's stick to our new normals. Let's value everything that government has said. They are doing a beautiful job. Thanks to our WhatsApp, and we get a lot of information. Let's look at the valid information, follow that, and put SOP, document your factories, whatever you're doing, whether you're thermometer, mask, document. It will help you. It will really help you. To all my community out there, do all the documentation.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Vikash. Now moving on to our next discussion with Mr. Saurabh. During our last discussion, Mr. Saurabh, I remember you saying a phrase that cash is confidence. And obviously cash flow coming across as a key challenge across the industry, including ours. How can decor and handicraft manufacturers deal with it? Over to you, Mr. Saurabh.
Right. Okay. So actually, there's a quote by one of these CEOs of. They say confidence is good, cash flow is better. Yeah. So that's the quote which I said. I just re-quoted. I must say it's not something I came up with. You see, we are all facing these challenges that the orders are being put on hold. I think, especially from the American side, of businesses. And we are close to 50 days now in the lockdown, and we are slowly trying to restart. I think this is very well said by Mr. Vikash. I think the key thing is the uncertainty at hand at the moment. Nobody knows how long this is going to be. Now, that's where the only ammunition you really have is your cash. So as long as you can preserve your cash and plan for at least the next 6 months, I think you will be in a very good place. I'm sure, people are saying, hey, my orders are being not picked up. How do I go and take on new opportunities? Absolutely. I would say if you can, go to your bank, if you need, borrow from them. Export credit is quite reasonable, I think, and it's probably going to get cheaper as we go along. People are talking about a special rate like 5%, what was given to the PPE manufacturing industry. So I think, if you can do that, I think that would be a good first step. Number two, I would also say it's the right time to look at your business and cut the fat. Now, when I'm saying cut the fat, I don't mean that you fire the people who work for you. The skilled craftsmen are in danger anyway. I was hearing that, there's no one who can draw the Jaipur art anymore, which used to be a very common skill in the north, at least. So, but you can start looking at your cost. You can start looking at your ancillary cost. You can start looking at your raw material cost. There is your power. Is there any wastages you're doing? Your overtimes. I think those are the kind of critical things where you can start saving. As you plan to start, you can start saving some cash flow. And the other thing I think is that to have an honest conversation with your employees, with your suppliers, make them aware. When you're dealing with the handcraft and the decor industry, sometimes you're dealing with people who've got all different levels of exposure. I think if you can make them aware and make them partner with the challenges at hand, I think we'll all come out of it pretty good. Timely action, I think at this moment, especially regarding cash flow, would take people. It'll give you a lead. In 2020.
Thank you, Mr. Saurabh. Thank you for those insights. I think let's pick one of the Q&As from our audiences over here. This is a question from Mr. Manul Agarwal. He's the owner of Manul Overseas. Mr. Manul is saying that in the recent news, we have heard all about the big players of this industry filing bankruptcy protection. That in turns will incur losses and cancellations of the foreign-based suppliers like us, which we never expect, especially from them. How in future do we avoid to ensure before accepting any orders that in future could incur losses, considering the financial stability could be fragile post-pandemic? So if any of our panelists would like to address this problem, Mr. Saurabh, yes, I think you can go ahead.
So I think there are several tools like ECGC, where you can actually take insurance cover against bankruptcy. And I think there's some private players as well now which have entered this space, which can allow you to, at a very small cost, at a fraction of a cost, you can actually safeguard your interests as you go along. Now, there's another challenge where credit rating of some of these companies goes down, and then these insurance companies do not give you cover on these suppliers. So I think it would be, just interesting to get the credit rating of your customers. That will also help you to know, which ones you want to be dealing with and which ones maybe in a slightly fragile position as we go.
Okay. Ms. Ruma, would you like to add something to this?
Yes, please. As the business changes, I keep talking about change. There are some new products out there, and our association, the Buying Agents Association, we did a whole webinar on the new concept of factoring. So a lot of our industry does not use factoring, which is an international known instrument for finance. So bank finance, ECGC actually does not finance you post shipment. It's a totally different focus to factoring. Factoring actually does due diligence over your customer, and they're spread out all over the world. So if you have a problem on finance, if you don't know what your customer is all about, the factoring company that you go to will find out and will give you all the information. Secondly, please be aware, as some customers go down, others will come up. So if there are large players who are going down, there are other small players who are becoming bigger because they have a different business strategy. So look for the change, look for the dynamics in your market, look for factoring. It's a very good tool to have if you are in business today. Cash is important, cash is difficult, especially in the Indian scenario, and most international clients do not understand from a buying agent's perspective, I can tell you that most buyers do not know the cost of money in India. Cost of money is very low all over the world, and it is exceedingly high in India. So they do not understand the problems you have just by getting finance for your business. So do look into our webinar. It is on our website. See the players that are out there in the market. Check them out. Check out your customers. There are commercial counsels available with all the information on your customer available on the net. Research your customer before accepting a contract. So every customer is registered with the commercial council of their area, and they have to give in their details, their finance details every quarter to the commercial council. So check them out. Ask the difficult questions. Do not risk a loss in your business.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Ruma, for giving your insights to this question. I hope it's solved, it's give a bit of fair idea to Mr. Manul Agarwal about his questions. Now, moving forward, I'm sure there are other major concerns, each one is facing over here other than cash flow. So I think we can check with the audience once that what is their major concerns with the next polling question. Okay, the question is, apart from addressing the primary issue of cash flow, what is your other major concern? Is it labor, raw materials? Is it pending order completions, new order acquisitions, logistics, or something else? So we'll let the audience to just submit the answers. Okay. So 46% of our audience have said that their major concern apart from cash flow is new order acquisition. The next is the 24%, which says that labor is one of their major concerns apart from cash flow, which comes to our next question. It brings to our next question to Mr. Vikash, is that with the mass relocation of migrant laborers, how do you see, how do you think the labor situation can be handled? And what steps can manufacturing units take to deal with ensuring manufacturing capabilities are unhindered? So over to you, Mr. Vikas.
Hi, yes, Sandesh. So I think this is a very it's a hot topic in the industry with the migrant laborers moving out, and you can understand why. Again, fear, scared, job loss, all that is there. It's all So I think, but with time, again, this will settle down. Government is again pushing. They are doing their own bit. I don't know about the other states, but in Haryana, I can tell you that I heard the CM himself appealing to migrant workers not to leave, not to go. But again, we as a business owners will also have to engage. We have to take some responsibility, because imagine these guys, they come. When do they come back? The villagers where they are staying, and the tenants and the landlord issue, not letting them in. So there are a lot of sensitive areas, issues which pops up, and I think and it's very genuine. So this is where we have to engage ourselves with their landlords, their and understand their concerns, and try to do things. And also we have to I was also looking at an article this morning where I was reading that there is going to be penalty if they don't show back. I think life is already very harsh, so I think instead of that, I was very happy if somebody can push it other way. When if I need workers in my factory, and especially a lot of garment manufacturing units and traders, if they are worried about it, then if what they can do, this is my idea, it's other way than what a lot of people are saying. Incentivize people who are coming back a little bit. Say if you can bring more people, if you have worked and if you think you are short on workers, this is my thought on this. Give them some incentive that if you bring back with you 4 or 5 people, I'll give you some money extra for each. So maybe that will incentivize in this hard times, will bring, and they have to bring back, and this is how we'll have to balance it out. I hope I've answered Sandesh your question on that, migrant workers.
Yes, yes. Thank you, Mr. Vikas. We also have a similar question from one of our audiences that I would like to pick up over here. It says that my orders and executions came to a halt. Uh, what is the kind of changes and impact we are looking at for the ones who we go back to? My workforce is scattered now as they had to go back home, and changes in the interiors field. So, if any of the panelists could address this question.
So I think I can answer that again, uh,
Sure.
Sandesh. I think again, I think it's a very valid question, and it's not with this particular gentleman. I think it's across. So again, as I said, baby steps. These are the challenges we will each one of us will have to deal with. This is not a surprise. My orders also got canceled. So what did I do? I got involved with my design team, put some creative, put it together because as Ruma mentioned very clearly, there'll be some opportunities. Some will shut, some will open up. We all know in our community there'll be a lot of buyers who will take advantage of this, opportunity. I always say every crisis brings some good opportunity. Maybe they will take the stock at a special price or something. So get ready. What is gone is gone, and let things settle down. Get your factories back into action. Buyers will come back. The buyers who have canceled order probably, they also need to revive their business. Probably they'll come back. And you got to communicate again, as I said, communication, engagement, technology. This is how we have to. This is the new world. This is the new normal. Let's live with it. Let's accept it. Let's not get disappointed. It is not something which has happened to you. It has happened to all of us, all across. So please press that reset button and get going, get moving. Don't worry about these small things. It will happen. I know it's easy said than done, but believe me, everybody is going through it. Every one of us.
Can
Thank
I
you.
offer you a
Thank you.
solution, Sandesh?
Yes, Ms. Uma, please go ahead.
So one of the things, again, because I'm talking on behalf of the Buying Agents Association, I'm giving you information of what are the solutions we are offering the industry. So what we have decided to do, we are a group of almost 250 buying agents. So our reach globally is huge. We have set up a stock offer folder. Anybody who has stocks, come to us. Give us your stock offers. All our members will try to sell your goods first. We are going across all our clients. We are part of this industry, and the welfare of every manufacturer and every exporter is our moral responsibility. So as the Buying Agents Association, I want everybody to know we have a folder, get in touch with us. All our members are trying their level best to sell stocks. That's number one. Number two, I'm again going to turn it on its head by saying, if labor doesn't come to you, maybe tomorrow you'll have to go to the labor. Think about it. Why should labor come to the urban centers? Maybe industry needs to go to the rural centers. Think of solutions. Don't think of the problems. Problems all of us know. For solutions, you have to be thinking free. You have to be thinking out of the box. There are huge opportunities here. Rural land is cheap. The state governments are offering infrastructure. They're offering electricity. They're offering roads. Take advantage. Go there. Employ the people there. Employ the youth there. You'll have a better urban environment. You'll have a better social environment. Think about it.
Thank you, Ms. Ruma. Thank you for giving, these insights about the industry. Now, there's a lot of talk about, technology being the next enabler. So we would like to know from our audiences about, how technology can play an important role in this by bringing up our next polling question. So it is, would you be keen on implementing technology for your businesses? We have some options and I would request the audience to please submit your answers. Okay, the answers are in, and it's really nice to see that 64% of our audiences believe that implementing technology is one of the way forwards for our businesses, our current businesses. Now, moving on to the next point of discussion, I would like to ask Ms. Jovita. So, right now the talk of the town is eco-friendly and sustainability.
Yeah.
You yourself have been manufacturing your products from recycled and sustainable materials. The question is, it can be difficult to shake hands with economics at the same time.
Right.
And how can manufacturers uphold sustainability at this point of time? Over to you, Ms. Jovita.
Thanks, Sandesh. Yeah, I know it's difficult, and I know it hasn't been priority especially in India for the longest time. We've been in existence for the last 10 years, and in all honesty, we did sustainable product and recycled product from our own ethical point of view. We really didn't market the idea, and I think that was a huge mistake. So what I feel is that if people do, I mean, there are ways of including sustainability into the way you source, the way you market, the way you sell, to whom you sell. All of this can be included in being sustainable, I mean. So, but if you do it, I know it's like Ms. Ruma already pointed out, how much material are you recycling? In some ways, there's a lot. Maybe there isn't enough wood, but there's a lot of plastic. So we also recycle acrylic for our lampshades, and there's a lot of that available. A lot of it comes from the exhibition industry. So you have to find the right material. It might not all be natural material, but plastics is huge, acrylic is huge. Get innovative with the product that you are making. Try and incorporate that into your business, and eventually make sure you tell people that this is what you're doing. I think that's one of the mistakes we made. We never told people that we were a recycled product. So make sure you're loud and out there and say it, because I think that's going to matter a lot now. I think what the lockdown has done is it's made the entire world wake up and have a look at, hey, we have a beautiful world out there, and there's a possibility that we can maintain it. And whatever little that you can do, I think you should do. I don't think you need to give up profitability for sustainability. I don't think that's the way businesses are run, and they shouldn't be run, because they wouldn't be businesses, they'd just be NGOs then. But I think if you're doing it, just say it out loud. Hey, this is what we're doing. I'm sure buyers are out there waiting, watching, looking at how you run your business, what you incorporate in your business. And if there are even a few things that you use, the bamboo fiber is huge now, that's sustainable. So go ahead, try out your options, and I'm sure there's a lot that you'd possibly be able to do.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Jovita. Ms. Ruma, would you like to add something to this?
Well, there's a whole industry which has come up, I'm sure the textile people know, of recycled cotton, which comes out from the garment trade. And now we run short because we don't get enough of it. So recycled cotton yarn is a very, very large product which is used in our industry. And I certainly don't think profitability comes in the way. Sustainability, how to be sustainable, everything is in the mind. If you look for solutions, you'll find them. And I feel that in India, all of us have been used to recycling all our life. It's in our culture. Nobody throws away plastic bags. Nobody does a lot of other things that we do traditionally. So it is, using clay, using terracotta, using wood. There's the shipwreck, the ship breaking yards are very big sourcing centers for us in the home decor area. We use almost every possible nut in a ship which comes on the ports of Gujarat. So sustainability is something which must go forward, and the kind of things you can do with recycling and sustainability is huge. So I think we are at the tip of the iceberg. We haven't really explored sustainability and recycling. And that's going to be something everybody is going to do. And the incredible human mind will come into effect and make this the new norm and be profitable. I can bet my life on it. 15 years down the line, you'll be looking back and saying, oh my God, did we really throw away plastic? Why? It's profitable to reuse plastic. Nobody will throw away plastics anymore because it will be profitable to reuse it. So just wait for the human mind to get the problem, to know they want to make money out of it, and then there's no problem.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Ruma, for that wonderful insight. I think we can pick just one question from our audiences. This question is from Priya Gandhi. She's asking, what is the overall future of this industry for 5 years from now? Where do we see the sector moving towards? Also, do you think that the lack of digitization will also have an impact on this? Then digitization, the industry is one of the solutions to go to this sector. So if any of our panelists could answer to this question. I think
Where
Jovita.
are we going 5 years from now? I think we should be looking at where are we going 5 days from now.
I agree.
I
think 5 years is a
I
long
cannot.
time.
I can only say that, man, we are going up.
I agree. I think
that's my thing. We are going up wherever you are, whether it's rock bottom, medium, high, or on the top. You are going up. That's all I know. 5 years from now, you look back on it.
Yeah, but what I would like to add to this, Sandesh, is
Yes.
I think as the handicraft industry in general isn't really digitized well. I think that is an effort that everybody needs to make. You need to put yourselves out on the social media platforms, make sure people know you exist. So there's amazing work available in the Indian market, but people don't know that you exist. That's simply because you aren't putting yourself out there on social media. I think that's one of the tools that the Indian handicraft industry needs help with, because a lot of the skilled artisans I understand aren't really, very good with the with social media marketing, etc. Absolutely. So I think that is one way that they could go up for sure. Social media is huge now, and if you see the graphs with how much people are spending time on it, I think that's a huge market to explore.
But I would like to say something on technology, Sandesh.
Sure.
Again, I don't think people are aware of how much technology there already is for our industry, but not used. So the Buying Agents Association had a webinar a few days ago on only design and technology for our industry. There are programs which are incredible. Come on to our website if you want to know the few we have explored, but go out there and explore it. Because now with 3D printing, something which is incredible, I could be making a drawing in Delhi. It could be getting 3D printed in Moradabad and in Amsterdam in real time. And there's no need for a mold. There's no need for a sample to be made. You can change it. You can look at it. You can look at options of materials from wood to stone to steel to glass. I can make all the changes online and I can print it out real time between Delhi, Moradabad, and Amsterdam. That exists today.
Wow.
So the kind of technology that we didn't even know about. In the last 2 months, I know for myself, I work 6 to 7 hours a day just learning what was out there, and I never had time to look at because I was so busy in my little world. And the kind of information we've had, the kind of webinars we've been able to do, the kind of information we've been able to give out to the industry is incredible. So all of those people out there today, if you don't know about it, look for it. We are one source, but there are, I'm sure, 100 others. Just look for it, find it, adapt it, use it, see what you think about it, and go with it. There is already, the beginnings are already there. We cannot run away. Technology and easy technology is there.
Sure. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ms. Ruma. I think we have just a few minutes over here. Just to quickly, wrap up with the last question is to you, Ms. Ruma, that travel within the country and abroad will be limited. And, what will be the new methods for global sourcing? This is one. And also another question that has been asked from one of our audiences, that again, considering the facts that travel is of utmost importance for this industry, as the artisans are all located in remote locations, and meeting with overseas buyers will not happen personally, what will be the impact of such factors on the industry? Just if you could quickly run through it, Ms. Rama.
Like I just said before, um, just think about the times 100 years ago when there were no telephones. People couldn't communicate. And today we are talking live across all over India. To be physically present is something we were used to and has changed. Physical presence will be required and should be there for personal and interpersonal relationships. Business professional relationships. Tomorrow it may not be necessary because of technology. And like I said, if I can have a sample printed real time into a 3D vase or a table or a lampshade between New York, Amsterdam, Delhi, and Muradabad, isn't that an incredible thought? So business will change. There is no doubt about it. Travel will not happen for a while. And when it stops happening for a while, people will really think, do we need to travel? If everything is happening without travel, okay, maybe differently. I won't say it's better or worse. I just say it'll be different. And we adapt to that different. And that throws up different opportunities. And then that becomes the new normal. Do we need to travel? Do we need to do this? Do we need to do that? All these will be questions. And they will be answered as situations come up. So I don't have a Sears globe where I can say, okay, what's going to happen? But this I'm certainly going to say, it is going to change. Please remain flexible. Please remain open. Please remain excited in the times we are in. It's the greatest opportunity for our generation to have had. To be able to expand our mind, throw us out of our complacence zone. We are completely out of auto mode that we were all into. We all have to think, we all have to move. And as we do that, the opportunities that await you will be incredible. So just grab them and run with it.
Sure. Thank you so much, Ms. Ruma. I think we have very few minutes over here. I would like to do one thing. I would pick, a lot of Q&As from our audiences, and if you could answer them quickly. One is from Ms. Gopal Singh Rathod. He's saying that he's newly into the business of exports, and his question is, I'm starting my own business exports. In which industry will have opportunities after lockdown gets over? Which commodity should I choose? So if any of you panelists could quickly give
Because
Mr.
I
Gopal.
think you're a good one for this.
Well, okay. I think, well, I'm glad. So he's at least we are looking into starting. That's a great.
Yes.
So that's a good start. I think look. There'll be opportunity. I mean, you have to see your strength. You have to see what is it that you're passionate about. It's very important. Business is not just business. It's a passion. It's got to be, that should be the first thing. What are you excited to do? What is it that you think is missing out there? It's small, big, doesn't matter. A small business can start as small and can grow to any heights. So I personally feel, look at what you're passionate, look at what the world needs right now. As everybody has said, Ruma has mentioned, it's the world is going to change, business is going to change, technology, we have to adopt, we have to learn, we have to accept, and we have to move on. So please first do your homework well, don't rush into things. Opportunity is not going anywhere, so relax, take your time. You are in the best spot where you can start, you know, like all of us, we are all starting new. So just, you are just one of us, so don't worry. And I think just find out that spot. Yeah, I hope I have answered him, and if not, he can always get
Yes.
in touch with me.
Sure, sure.
You
Yeah,
should have
Mr.
said leather, dude.
What is it?
You should have told it leather.
Oh, as I said, I'm passionate about leather. If he is, he should, no question. I'll be happy to, and I'm willing to collaborate. I'm always open to collaboration. I think that's another great opportunity for all of us. It's a time to collaborate.
Yeah,
It's
I
a
think
time.
we should do lights.
Yes, we can do lights. Absolutely. It's a time to, I've been always saying, always collaborate. There's a huge potential to grow. 1 + 1 is not 2, it's 11. Anyway, so please do reach out. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Vikas. Another question from Mr. Gurinder Singh. He wants to know if people's habit on spending on exclusive and premium products will change after lockdown. If anyone could just answer this question. Jovita, yeah, over to
So
you.
I think it will change for a while, but I think human beings are human beings and they'll go back to the previous normal back again and soon. So yeah, luxury will, take a hit for a while, but I think it's going to be a temporary hit. So if you can, innovate product to do essential as of now and do product that people need more currently, and then continue with luxury after a few months, I'm sure you'll be back to square one. I don't think that should be an issue.
Okay. Mr. Saurabh, I think you would like to add to this.
Maybe, yeah. I probably, so there's a 28% increase in pet care consumption in the US in the last 1 month. I think as people are leading isolated lives, they're probably keeping more pets. So I think, I think pet care is probably going to be more essential, as we go along. And the other spaces of home offices, I think, there's a lot of talk about these new categories which are coming up. So let's see the space, see what happens.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Saurabh. Another question from Mr. Shankar Pawar. He's asking us that how will imports from China impact in the current scenario? Also, will the sentiments of boycott Chinese products will impact business? So if anybody could just...
I don't think you should be bothered about China.
Yeah.
Do your thing.
Yeah.
Don't run after a shadow. You'll always be running again, with the boogeyman. Do your thing, be good at what you do. Business will come to you.
I'd probably like to add here. I think we've spoken a lot about technology. I think we've always given handcraft as an excuse for lack of efficiency within organizations, and I think that's something which we really need to take a good hard look. Use the technology, not only to sell your product but also to streamline your processes, and try and get that in place. And then China, that's all they do. They just do it. They just have a much better way of making handcraft and stuff. I mean, in terms of efficiency. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Saurabh. Another question, I believe it's from a student, and I think it's very important to answer it right now. I think it's Pragya writing us saying that what about the design students? Is it going to affect us badly?
You are in Clover. If you're a design student, everybody needs you.
Yeah,
huge opportunity.
Huge.
Yeah. In fact, just to answer Sandesh, and just to make her feel a little better of him or her, what I did in this lockdown, I kind of activated my old designers who moved on for their further education abroad, for their masters, and I tell them, listen, you're all locked down. Why don't you help me? Why don't we do something? Because I'm building a new home office concept in leather. And I reached out to them. I said, why don't you all start putting a collection for me? So I think designers will have a very key role. I think you guys are the innovation, creating innovation in our country. And I think it's high time. And I think I'm one of the very few industry who hired designer from day one, being in a handicraft business. But I think, don't worry, there's a huge potential, but be good. Be good. We have that energy to learn first. I mean, you know, everybody
Yes.
wants to be a great designer, but please first learn.
Be practical.
Yeah, be practical, spend time, and please explore. There's so much out there. We are a land situated with a lot of material, a lot of opportunity. So please, but yes, there's opportunity for you. So
And
don't get
that's
disheartened.
something nobody can take away. India is
Nobody.
known for
Yes.
creative product.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
So let's stick to our core strength, and that is to be creative.
Yeah. And learn.
Learn.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Vikas and Ms. Ruma. So I think, we are almost at the end of our session today. Before we leave, let's have a final thought, from our panelists, that what will be the new normal for the handicraft and decor industry. So if each one could share their perspective on this, starting off, I think, with Jovita.
Well, I think we're already seeing the new normal, and I don't. I think the best way to go about it is take one day at a time, see how it goes, be innovative, be creative, and I think we've covered everything as such. Otherwise, so thank you so much, and it was great, answering these questions.
Thank you. So I think, Mr. Vikas, would you like to just give in your input?
I think yes. The new normal. I'm in a lifestyle business, and I kind of agree. Lifestyle, the philosophy might change, and there are certain changes which is going to be temporary. So I am looking at the way I'm looking at things is short term and long term. So my right now strategy is somehow to, as I said, taking baby steps, getting back into business, getting back into my thought. I feel there will be a lot of opportunity still coming, and just stay positive. That's the most important thing. Keep your team together. Don't let them go this time. We need each other. We are human first, and I think, and let's innovate. Let's build India image. I think Make in India is going to be very strong now. I think this is the time that we got to show the world that we are there. It's a lesson for us. We are all on the same platform. You don't have that opportunity where you can say, oh, somebody's is much ahead of me. Somebody's taking a bigger lead. No, we all are on the same platform. The God has brought us back to the same level. So let's be productive. Let's be creative. There'll be a demand. There'll be maybe 4 or 5 months. Business might be down. Don't worry. Just hang in there. Just pull yourself, and opportunities will come. I'm very sure. At least in my business, I'm sure people spend more time at home. So I think they're not going to go out. Probably start going to the restaurants and all that, movies or traveling. They're still going to spend time at home, socializing with few friends. They will do their homes. So I think our interior so-called industry has got a lot of potential. In a sense, people will do their home. They have already discovered those corners which was missing some piece of furniture or decoration piece because staying home for 6 weeks. So so look at those opportunity. Try and reach to them with those. If you have some products, reach. And in the today's world, I was telling my retail guys, people cannot come to the showroom. So be it. Let's go to them. So it's think, and I'm sure you'll come up with the ideas. You'll be surprised. Everybody wants good product. Everybody wants. People are still going to spend money. You all are ordering food outside. All of us are, I'm sure. So life will go on. So please stay positive, and God bless you all. Thank you, and let's rise together on this and make India proud, make our country proud, and do the right things. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Mr. Vikas. Ms. Ruma, any tips on the new normal?
For me, this is the best time to be learning. This is, for me, the new normal. Going back to school. Learning to be young again. Because when you're learning, you are young. To start up again, we are all startups, like Vikash said. No matter where we thought we had reached, we are startups, we are learning. And the best is we are going to be learning with kids. It's the kids who are going to teach us. It's the Gen X who is our future. So all the young kids out there, come and teach us what you know of the world. And for all the buying agents out there, because I see there were a lot of buying agents, please speak to your clients. This is a new India they're going to come to. We were always creative, but we're also going to be more efficient. We're going to use technology. We're going to have so much raw material which is available in our country. The mix of materials that India can offer cannot be offered in any one country other than India. Skilled labor across 15 different raw materials. That is what your country has. Market that. And customers must know. People are scared to come to India because of various reasons. Take that fear away from them. Because today technology will ensure they don't have to come to India, but Indian product will reach their market at a good price, well made and beautiful. What more would they want?
Exactly.
So gung ho guys, it's going to be a good tomorrow. Learn today. That is what we need.
Thank you. And finally, I think Mr. Saurabh, would you like to add anything to this?
Well, not much to add. I'd say I'll wait for 6 months to really know what the new normal is. Perhaps it's the tip of the iceberg, but I'd say for people in the manufacturing world, please set up a good 3-tier system of how do you avoid, this sort of COVID thing affecting you guys on the shop floor. I think this is going to be important. And I think, as everybody else said, talk to your clients, talk to your agents, talk to your customers, and they are the ones who are going to tell you what the new normal is, and whatever their requirements are is really what your requirement is. So just keep them engaged. I think that's the most important thing. All stakeholders at this moment should be engaged to really know what the new normal is going to be, in my opinion.
Thank you, Mr. Saurabh. In fact, thank you all the panelists, for providing your insightful suggestions. Now we have a lot of questions, that we've not been able to answer. To the audience, what we can do is we can email these questions to our panelists and probably they could answer and we will get back to you with all the questions and answers. Now, thank you again to the audience. It was quite an engaging session. We would like to thank the panel members, for being a part of today's webinar. It was indeed a pleasure to have you all participate in the conversation and sketch the way forward for the industry for next and new business opportunities. Thank you for your time. And last but not least, I would like to, read out this quote from one of our audiences that was written. It's in Hindi. कुछ देर ही खामोशी है फिर शोर आएगा तुम्हारा तो वक्त आया है तुम्हारा दौर भी आएगा.
Well said.
Well said, well said. Thank you so much to the audience. Thank you, panelists. And I think stay safe, stay healthy, and stay connected. That's all that is important right now. Thank you so much,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Vikash.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Vikash.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Lovely.
Thank you. Great moderation.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Mr. Saurabh.
Thank you, guys. Vikash,
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Thank you.
Bye. Stay safe.
Thank you. You guys too. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye. Namita?